Hi guys. Welcome to my Keller Motivational Monday. It's a little bit on the late side. I know that I just had a really busy day and a lot going on. But I'm really glad to be able to hang out with you guys for a few minutes this evening, talk about some things that are going to help us to have a better week, a better life. That's the whole point of this. Talk about things that resonate with us, share ideas, maybe become better people, who knows? Maybe become happier people, maybe kinder people. I don't know. How are you tonight? We are going to be talking about, by the way, doing the right thing, what that even means, why it's important, if it is important, why should we bother? Because sometimes doing the right thing is inconvenient, and I will tell you one thing, I won't be preaching because also the right thing for one person is not necessarily the right thing for another person. That's another issue. Uh, but like we're gonna talk about it. Like, why should we? Not just well because it's the right thing to do. No, I want to like talk about it. I love talking with you guys and exchanging ideas. So I'm gonna do a few shout outs before we get to it. Thank you. I like this shirt too. I've actually had this shirt forever. Like I've had it for years and years, and I've reused it so many times. And I will not be getting political, by the way. No politics. I will be talking about the idea of voting, particularly, so say the power of the purse, something like that. Yes, fighting against human trafficking, that will come up. It feels good to be nice to others. That's true, long fisherman. Is that what it says? Geniuses pick green. Yeah, no politics. There's enough politics. You want politics? Go watch the news. I'm not gonna have politics here. It's just like who's like getting to their breaking point where you can like basically yeah, okay, so what made me think of this topic, by the way, and I do want to do some shout outs, I'm not going to forget. But you guys are actually bringing up lots of good points and not asking for shout outs, which I find interesting and great. I am neither Republican nor Democrat. I will say that. Yes, it is about cuties. Oh, I'm so glad my math books help your students. Total eclipse of the, I'm not going to read that out loud, but it rhymes with heart. That is hilarious. I only, I only even learned what that word means because I've got two boys in the house. Freddie, oh my goodness. Prayers to you. Prayers to you, Freddie, and for peace in your heart. Yeah, Cobra Kai is going to be, I've not seen Cobra Kai. I was thinking of checking it out, but I won't be now because I canceled Netflix. My husband and I canceled Netflix last night. It was last night because of this cuties movie that is essentially truly softcore child porn, and we're like, that's not okay. We called customer service a few days ago and said, hey, so this movie is endangering kids, it's normalizing sexualization of 11-year-old girls, and it's really erotic and really like to crossing a line, you guys. Doesn't have to be this exploitive to make a very good point that the filmmaker wanted to make about the exploitation of kids. Yes, but you don't have to do it in order to talk about it. So we canceled Netflix because they didn't take it down. We said, well, we'll give you guys a couple days, but this is really important to us. And that's a vote. We are voting to say that that's as important a vote as any other vote. But and you canceled it too? Right? It was ridiculous. Like Reddit just like, what? It's not book burning. It's not book burning. I would submit to you that that's not what this is. That's like for example, this is what, would you be okay with a movie that was talking about the horrors of child trafficking and the way these kids are getting raped and things, horrible stuff? Would you be okay with a movie that wanted to, bring that to light, but had like a 2 or 3 minute prolonged rape scene with a little girl? Like, no, you don't have to do that. That's exploitive. That crosses a line into exploitation and normalization. It's not okay. I'm not about book burning. I'm also for freedom of speech. But freedom of speech doesn't allow somebody to yell fire in a crowded theater. So my son just turned 10. So anyway, thank you all. By the way, I've gotten so people text sending messages now, and also tons of DMs um, telling me that they've also canceled Netflix in this. You guys, I really hope that Netflix will take cuties off. Will realize the error of their ways, and I hope they do the right thing. And then because there's stuff we wanted to watch on Netflix, but sometimes doing the right thing is just what you gotta do. Sometimes you just gotta do. And by the way, I have a show on Netflix called Project MC Squared that I'm very proud of. I have a supporting role in it. I did it years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, and I love that show. And I would love to work for them again. They have all different kinds of programming. However, I mean Netflix is a big place for actors. However, sometimes you just gotta do the right thing when you know what that is. Do we always know what the right thing is? No, we don't always know. Although there are ways of working on finding that. But sometimes you just gotta do the right thing. And let's talk about that for a minute. Assuming that you do know what the right thing is, you can feel it. And that's something you feel. It's like a resonator. I tell my son, listen for feel the truth bell. When the truth bell rings inside of you, you can just feel it. You just know that you're on the right track with something. You know that you're doing something that is you're supposed to be doing. It's never the wrong time to do the right thing. You believe we know when something is right. I think most people know when something is right. And then there's common sense. It's just, yeah, it's really. So there's a quote that I wanted to share with you guys that I actually disagree with. And that is, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Now that sounds great, but I actually don't think that's true. I don't think two things have anything to do with each other. And maybe this is just my mathematical literal brain. But if you if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. I think well the cool thing about that quote is that there's that opposite words, there's a symmetry. There's a symmetry which is very satisfying. But I feel like you can stand for something and also fall for things. I feel like a lot of people who care about things could also maybe be naive as well. I probably fit into that category. Um, I'm one of the only actors speaking out about cuties. I'm not the only one. Jen Lilly, who's on Hallmark Channel, she's been speaking out. Alexa Penavega has also spoken out, but she did it only on Insta Stories, and now it's gone. It's always important to do the right thing. It's yes, great people in this country are being represented by a few evil souls. I believe that's true on both sides, by the way. Anyway, so that's just a funny quote that if in case of I just I just don't know why I wanted to share that with you guys because that quote occurred to me recently. I was like, yeah, if you don't stand for something and fall for anything. I was like, wait, what? And you know what? People who don't stand for something, sometimes I feel like those are some smarmy people who don't stand for anything, but they also don't fall for anything because they're just sort of smarmy and staying behind the scenes and whatever. Yes, I like that Robocop, Rob. You have to have ethics or else you erode your soul. And I'm not even a particularly religious person. I believe in God. I believe in there's something bigger than us for sure. I don't know what form it takes. I don't have to know because I can feel it, right? We feel it. But if you don't do the right thing, it will erode your soul. People talk about selling your soul to the devil or whatever. And where do you think that all comes from? Where does that come from? There's something inside of us that if there's good stuff inside of us and there's bad stuff inside of us. And whatever we feed is going to grow. I'm saying Periscope is as bad as Netflix. I don't know what you mean by that. All social media, by the way, all social media has underage girls doing things they shouldn't be doing and becoming targets for predators who would potentially groom them to sucker them into and trap them into sex trafficking. That is absolutely true. I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but it's every single social media outlet has that going on. Sex trafficking and predators find their victims through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, which I think is the same thing now, TikTok, uh, and then apps that I've never even heard of. I've seen the list of these apps. I'm just like, because I've been getting involved in the fight against child trafficking, and I'm learning a lot of stuff. Boys are also targets, yes, to a smaller degree, but absolutely. So that's, yes. Social media is a means of communication. It can be used in good ways and in bad ways. It can connect people to help solve problems. Um, anyway, it's a method of communication. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to or not. But I really, if you guys come across an account where girls or boys, but I think girls are doing it more, are doing inappropriate things that you think might lead them to be a potential victim and a target for sex trafficking, please speak up. Please report the account. Please do something, or even talk to the girl and say, "Do you know what you're doing?" Anything. I don't have all the answers yet. I'm working on it. I'm working on getting some answers, but it's Facebook is taking a hard stance against it. That's great. That's great to hear. But yeah, it's everywhere. Yes. Yes, I am. I am the lady who played on Project MC Squared, a show that's on Netflix right now. And Netflix might not hire me again after this. I don't know. But I'm trying to be clear that I only want to we canceled Netflix only because of Cuties. If they get rid of Cuties, I'd be happy to sign back up again. There's tons of shows on there that I'd like to watch. But this one crosses a line that is so extreme that I can't stand by. We couldn't stand by and allow our vote not to be heard. Yes, I saw Taxi Driver, not the same. Thoughts on voting? Vote. Vote for who you want to vote for. Those are my thoughts on voting. Let's see what else. um, oh, here's something else. Okay, so I just want to touch on this briefly. Doing the right thing and being all fired up and fighting for the good cause or whatever it is. I want to make a distinction between doing what you believe to be the right thing and jumping on a bandwagon of what other people are telling you the right thing is to do that you have to do, or you're a bad person. Because there's a lot of that going around, again, from both sides. So I'm getting all sorts of, right. St. Jude's have been doing it for years. I don't know what you mean by that, but St. Jude is an amazing organization. Um, anyway, so great, right? I mean, you guys have seen this, right? There's just a lot of pressure to say certain things, do certain things, and not do things, and not say things, but then say these other things, and all the rest of it. It's really a form of online bullying, as far as I'm concerned. How do you tell the difference between doing something that's right for you and really right, and you feel it is the right thing, versus that righteous indignation that social media tends to be fueling up in us? This outrage addiction that keeps us clicking, it keeps us scrolling. It's just like the news when they make things seem like bigger than they are, like, oh, Stormwatch 2000, when there's like a little rain that comes to Los Angeles, and that's just a silly fun example, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So there's tons of the news. It benefits them to exaggerate the news because then it keeps people tuning in. They feel like it's more important, it's more dire, it's more whatever. So and I noticed somebody wrote back to me after I talked about canceling Netflix because of Cuties, and they said, I just feel like it's kind of like just a trendy thing to do now, because otherwise people are just doing it because they're afraid of not seeming like a good Christian. I'm like, what? What are you even talking about? Here's my criteria. I've been thinking about it. How do you know? Because feeling truly righteous, like in a good way, because you're doing the right thing, and feeling righteous indignation, which is what has fueled things like the Inquisition and all sorts of horrible, horrible mass killings of people, ethnic cleansing, you name it. Horrible things done in the name of we're doing the right thing. That's righteous indignation. How do you tell the difference? Here's what my criteria. I shared my canceling of Netflix, hopefully to inspire others to do it as well. However, even if there was no method of doing that, we would have done it anyway. Ask yourself, if none of the people I follow on social media, if nobody knew that I was going to do this, would I still do it? Would I quietly still do this thing? Is that how that, and that's how you know it's right, because it's internal. Netflix might not take down Cuties. They might not take it down, but we know that we are not part of that problem. We know that we're not supporting it. And knowing that you're doing the right thing makes a difference. You sleep easier at night. You feel better about yourself. Yes, only you live with your conscience. You do what's right for your conscience. Right. Don't worry about watching my show on Netflix. Forget it. Forget it. That's what I did. It was a few years ago, and I would love someday to work for Netflix again if they take down Cuties and we renew our subscription. But right now, not gonna happen. I've seen plenty of that movie, yes. And I will reiterate this point for those who are just joining in. So Cuties is a movie on Netflix. Came out September 9th. Everyone talked about how the poster was like, and it's about 11-year-old girls in a dance troupe, in this like provocative dance troupe thing. And it's a coming of age story, blah, blah, blah. So the poster was like these like poses, super sexy poses with these 11-year-old girls, one of them on her hands and knees. And there's a big outcry. This was a month ago. And I truly also, I was upset. You're like, what? What is this? Why are these 11-year-old girls on their hands and knees? What? Netflix came back and said to the public, we are so sorry. We changed this poster. It was a French film, and their original poster was much more happy-go-lucky. These cute little girls running down the street wearing bras on the outside of their clothes, symbolizing, I guess, that they're experimenting with their sexuality and femininity. Okay, sure. I never did that when I was 11, but I mean, whatever. Then the movie came out, and everybody's saying, oh, the poster is so much worse than the movie. The movie is so much worse than that poster was. It's so much worse. These girls are literally groping themselves on stage, humping the floor. They're 11. Now, I guess in real life they're 13 or 14, but they're playing 11-year-olds, and they look 11, and they're wearing almost nothing, sticking their butts in the camera. The camera is zooming in. It's like the Cardi B video, but for 11-year-olds. But worse, it's so horrible. They actually do things that even Cardi B didn't do, I'm pretty sure. So, horrified, my husband and I called Netflix. This was a few days ago. And we said, you guys, this is porn. This is softcore child porn. We can't support this. Please take it down. And in a few days, if you haven't, we're going to have to cancel our subscription, which we did. Last night, we canceled it. And no, it is not wholesome family entertainment. Yeah. And for those who are saying, oh, but they're trying to shine a light on this horrible problem. Okay, but you don't have to do it like that. For example, and I said this earlier in the video as well, if you wanted to bring to light the horrors of child trafficking, something that I'm studying about a lot, child sex trafficking, would you think it was okay to show a prolonged 2 to 3 minute, because this dance routine just goes on and on. They like won't stop humping the floor and touching themselves. It's like, and look, and sticking their tongues out and sticking their crotches into the audience. You're just like, what is happening? It goes on and on and on. You wouldn't show a sex trafficker raping a little girl for 2 or 3 minutes, on and on and on. You wouldn't just, and she's naked and she's on the ground, or maybe she's not quite naked because that would be illegal. You wouldn't show that. It's exploitive at that point. You made your point a long time ago. You don't need to do that. That's exploitive. It normalizes those visuals, and it's dangerous. It endangers kids. Anyway, really, so the movie's title is Cuties, which tells you everything. Also, what tells you everything is that this is a movie about 11-year-old girls. It says twerking and a dance, whatever. And it's not for kids. It's rated for mature adults. Since when was a movie about 11-year-old girls rated for mature adults? Where are their parents? I agree. Where are their parents? Yeah, I don't, heck to the no. I agree, Ashley. So that's what's going on. Anyway, I've heard about toddlers and tiaras. I don't think they were groping themselves or humping the floor. I don't think. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I have heard that dance moms had some sort of, and I didn't see that either. I heard that dance moms had some sort of one dance routine where the girls were dressed to look naked and were doing things. I agree, Jay. I agree. When you get Winnie Cooper mad, she's tough as hell. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Court TV discussed this movie today. Good. Well, I feel like this is a discussion worth having, and I think it's worth talking about. I've been getting involved for 2 or 3 months now, getting very involved in the fight against child trafficking. And thank you for all of you guys who have watched the training video every Tuesday. I do hashtag Training Tuesday on Twitter. Anyway, I think I do it on I do it on Instagram as well, and I think Facebook. I don't know if Facebook shows like the links if they're clickable, but if you go to it's our rescue OUR rescue the two R's .org/training. You can take this training course that will teach you. It's about an hour long. You watch little videos, take a quiz, watch some videos, take a quiz, and then you get a certificate of completion at the end. And at the end, when you get that certificate of completion, I've been encouraging people to send it to me. Send me your certificate and I will DM you back or tweet you back or whatever. Facebook, I'm not as good at. I just don't know what I'm doing on Facebook, and I'm so sorry. I have to do it from my laptop, and I'm almost never on my laptop. My phone just doesn't like Facebook. I don't know what it is. I've tried to solve this many times. Anyway, send it to me, and I will communicate to you back directly, thanking you for doing it. So I've been doing this for a while, getting very involved in this, and thank you, Grady. That's what I did as well. I agree. I agree, Jakarta. I don't understand why they thought this was okay. I don't understand. I just don't understand. I feel like it's just common sense. Anyway, sex trafficking is a big thing. Child trafficking is a big thing. And I've been very involved. So when this movie came out, I was like, what? This is making it worse. It's making it worse. I am working on, I raise money with my cameo videos for these some wonderful organizations who work to fight child trafficking and provide services for victims that are rescued. We call them survivors. I'm still learning. Uh, and um, and I'm also working in the very early stages on an educational project. I don't exactly know what form it's going to take, but I want something available to all kids and available through the schools. Hopefully, schools will make it part of their programs, because in a lot of states, sex trafficking is actually required as part of their sex ed, which is fantastic because kids need to be educated about this so they know how to avoid it. So I've been working on this educational project. I don't know. It's going to be like a year probably. It's going to be a thing. I'm going to be trying to do it in between my movies and my books and homeschooling my child and everything else. But you know what? When something's really important to you, you make time for it. You figure it out. When it's the right thing, you figure it out. It happens. I've heard about that rescue. I don't know anything about that. There's so much to learn. Can I run for office? You guys, I would be so angry if I ran for office. I would just be angry all the time. And I don't think I would I'm too honest, to be honest, to go into office. I don't think I'd survive it. My view on politics is that they are basically all lying about almost every single thing all the time. So I feel like I could do more good in the private circus? No, what is it? Private something. What word am I missing? We need anger. Well, yes. Yes, anti-sex trafficking. Anyway, I think everyone's lied. Everyone's lied. They've all lied. Well, here's the thing about Cardi B's WAP. I don't know, WAP. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. At least they're grown-ups. At least they're grown-ups. That's what I'm going to say about that. And I know little girls will look at that, and I know they'll try to imitate it and stuff here and there. I know. A lot different from little girls being the ones who are being paid to do that. And people are watching it. And pedos are watching it. It's different. It's just different. Circuit. Thank you, Rand. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I really appreciate you, Rand. Thank you for that. Yeah, then there's that law, AB 145 in California. I don't know if it's AB. I thought it was SB. 145 in California. You guys. I know. Yeah, no, I found watching the Cardi B video sort of like an out of body experience. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, why? What? Anyway, water. This is water. Right. Thank you, Grady. One is bad taste, the other is abusing children. Yes. Yes. Could I get a hearing before a judicial committee and express my concerns? If the opportunity arose, and especially once I get a little, are you talking about specifically cuties or sex trafficking in general? I mean, cuties is just one tiny little element of the issue of sex trafficking that needs to be addressed in this country. I was so inspired by Ashton Kutcher doing that. And he started that foundation, Thorn, which does amazing work finding online child predators. Yes, well, kids are kind of my thing. I've been writing math books for kids to inspire them to be smart and savvy for a long time. Now, got to take it a little step further. Jeremy, I certainly don't mean to be ignoring you. There are a lot of comments that come in. How do you not compromise? Is that like versus doing the right thing, Daniel? Um, is Blake Lively speaking out about it? That's great. Shoot, I just forgot what I was going to say. Oh, compromising. You know what? It's about knowing what's right. When you know what's right and you can see it's clear to you, you do the right thing. We have to be guided by that little voice. Yes, 3 cheers for Ashton Kutcher. Yeah, he's amazing. I should write math books for kids that have IEP. I don't know what that stands for. Yes, we need better laws on pedophiles. I agree. There's so many angles to attack this from. You got my math books to encourage your daughter. She's 3 years old, Melissa. Well, I have some books for that age. Well, bath time, math time, or bath time, math time shapes is really good too because it's like shapes, and this is a little bit more complicated. This is adding one to things. The idea that you go from counting to adding one. Individual education plan. I still don't know what that means, like in terms of what that actually means. Your high school daughter, which book for your high school daughter to read first? If she is like in 9th grade, if she is regular track, then I would. Oh no, actually, yeah, no, it'd be Hot X, the algebra book. Thank you. Individualized education plan. You guys are so smart. OnlyFans. I don't have an OnlyFans site. Math is a great, quick way to teach critical thinking for sure. Customized learning approach, but is that through schools, I guess? You're welcome, Mick. Philip, you have math disabilities. I recommend Math Doesn't Suck. Hang on. This one. This is the book that I recommend to adults, assuming you're an adult, who want to learn more about math. It's fractions, decimals, percents, very practical everyday stuff. The website for training, again, for learning the signs of human trafficking. Thank you for asking about that again. It is Our Rescue, so OUR Rescue, that's 2 R's, .org/training. Nothing will change if we cancel our Netflix only to join up. I'm only joining up again if they take down cuties. Well, my books are used by all sorts. My books are used by homeschoolers. They're used by all sorts of people. So they might work for this IEP group of kids as well. Percentages. That's this book again. Math Doesn't Suck. Your grandson loves my first grade book. Oh, cool, Gary. That's Do Not Open This Math Book. Oh, you're right. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else? I took some notes. Oh, right. Yeah. No, again, you guys, doing the right thing. Sometimes when we do the right thing, it means that we end up having to give something up, or there's some cost to it. And that's okay. that's okay. Well, yes, that's true, Grady. I never saw Dance Moms, but I'm hearing more and more about it, and it sounds horrific. My only experience with Dance Moms was when I was on Dancing with the Stars as a dancer, and the host from Dance Moms was a guest judge. Oh, I got the worst vibe from her. I was not. And then I heard things about how mean she was to the kids. I'm like, who is this woman? Like, who does that? I am doing more Hallmark movies. Wheels 8. Yes, in fact, I'm going to be doing one in October for Christmas. Netflix lost $9 billion in stocks today over cuties. Good. Good. I hope they take it down and they'll get that back, hopefully. We're voting. By canceling Netflix, we're voting to say we're having our voices actually be heard. That's a tangible thing. And by the way, it asks you the reason that you're canceling, and we just click other and said, you know, cuties. It's crossing a line into softcore child porn, and we hope that you take it down. And we would love to reinstate our subscription at that point. Done. What if you do the right thing, but if you have a guilty feeling or self doubt feeling, then that might not be the right thing. Hmm. Hey Josh, go to sleep. I'm sleepy. I'm a little sleepy. What do you recommend for your seven grade boy who's in accelerated math? How about Kiss My Math? I recommend that one. I bet, Michael. I bet. A million people will file a complaint. I hope so. I hope so. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for listening to me go on about the right thing and how we know what's the right thing. It feels right inside. It makes you feel strong. It makes you feel like a warrior. I don't know how this is not a bigger deal, Grady, but I'm making as big a deal as I can. Respectfully, look, not everybody at Netflix got behind that film. You know what I mean? Like, there's people there who are probably like, what the? And other people who are like, well, we're making money. Who knows? But tomorrow will be Training Tuesday. So, again, I'll say it one more time. This is about learning the signs of human trafficking because statistically, there's so much human trafficking going on and child trafficking. We've all seen it and not recognized it. So, if you take this course, it takes like an hour. It's really kind of cool because there's like a few little videos and then a quiz and a few little videos and a quiz. And then you'll get your certificate of completion with whatever name you entered in there when you first register. And it is, one more time, Our Rescue, OUR, and then rescue.org/training. And I will be posting that. Please send me your certificates of completion. And if you want to get more involved to helping kids, besides canceling Netflix and telling them why, then go to the link in my bio and you'll see something that says charity links. Click on that once you're inside the link, and it'll show you it'll have a link to the training video and also how to volunteer for some of these organizations. I did watch Filthy Rich. Yes, the Jeffrey Epstein thing. I watched the whole thing before I canceled Netflix. This was like a few weeks ago. Good, Josh. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And whatever it is, here's the last point I want to make. When you do the right thing, you are filled with a sense of purpose. And we all need to feel purpose in this life, or we will get depressed and listless and aimless. Purpose, that fuel inside of us that makes us know that we're on the right track, because we don't even know why we're here. We don't even know what life is really, unless if you really have a great relationship with your religion and you really feel like you know, and that's fantastic, and I'm envious. That's great. But it's hard to know what's right and what's wrong. When you know what's right, what the right thing is to do, and you do that, you're living in your purpose, whether it's a single act or if it's a path that you're taking for yourself, for your family, for whatever, a career change, a calling that you're following, whatever that is. When you're doing the right thing, it feels right and it fills you with a sense of purpose. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And I will see you very soon on the Danny Cam. Bye. Mwah.